Welcome back to Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for September 21st, 2025. 2025. Been a great week. There's a lot of really good stuff going on this past week, and there's always some Transformers news. Not every day do I talk about Hasbro as one of the better Transformers news stories, but I'm going to talk about this. There's another way to get the Marshall 3.0 from Ramen for what I think is the best price shipped total. But yeah, we talk about that show. See, then there's going to be this Target Fall Geek Out thing, and people have been stressing about this 2-pack. It is sold out, but I just want to say this. They always show up in store, and I have yet to see a pack like this not go on clearance, but these guys are sought after, so maybe just the 55 is what you need. Oh, speaking of sold out, this is sold out. The more I think about it, I probably should have got the Catwoman. It might have been good, but for the most part, I was turtled out. Now I'm Batmaned out. So my feelings aren't hurt here at all. And then this is instant pre-order bait for me with the Wave 7 of Silverhawks and Super Friends. I hope I got time to talk about Super Friends some more. The Wonder Twins. Oh, I've got stories upon stories about that, but McFarlane is showing up this week hard. And then Star Wars, there's some news, and I'm happy about that, but there's not a lot, so I'm going to tell you about my son's debate with me on the way home for buying a massive G.I. Joe collection coming up. Off what's coming in at Show Z store, and we got the KO of the Jinrai, Super Jinrai, but the first KO is the one on the right, and I had to go through some efforts to get this picture again. And the thing is that it did not have the same box art as the original, which if you're buying a knockoff for half the price, who cares, right? It's not a brown box special, it's something. But the second KO, and we're starting to see a lot of double KOs show up, which is weird, shows the almost exact packaging of the original Takara, and I don't understand the difference, but I seriously was overloaded with pre-orders showing up, and I just kind of passed on that one, the first one. So I'm in on the second one for my own reasons. I'll review it when it comes in, but I'm excited for it, looking forward to it, and you can get it on Show Z for a pre-order right now. 3.0 Transformers MDLX Lost Light Rodimus Prime exclusive version is $140 at Show Z store right now, and I did not want this. I did not want this, but it looks amazing. Xiao Lao picture makes it look fantastic, even better than the promo pictures. And with that, I'm tempted, but I'm holding strong for now. And we have this right here from Blitzway Carbonic Series Voltron Legendary Defender Go Lion 10th Anniversary Limited Special Edition. And I gotta tell you right now that when I went back to look this up, it's sold out. And I'm shocked because the deposit alone was $170. The reason I even talk about it is because, well, it's in my lineup here of slides to talk about. But it's also something that when it comes in stock, they might have more. I have no idea what the full price will be with a $170 deposit. But I know it looks amazing, and what Playmates did is terrible, in my opinion. This will be awesome. It literally sold out within 30 minutes of me gathering the news for this and going back to it to check the details. By the way, that's Gundam It, not Show Z. Right, so over on Gundam, there's the 3-0 Marshall horse, and the price on it is about 125, 124, something like that. And you put $15 down, so it'll be like 109 when it shows up, and that's shipped. Now on Ramen's site, it's like 130 now, plus shipping. So I think currently right now, if you didn't pre-order it, it's the best option. And so with that, I was a little surprised to see it show up. Hopefully they get the Doc Terror and more quantity of that when that shows up. And for $170, they have the Ramen Science Ninja Team Gotcha Man G1, officially licensed, by the way, if you're into this. I'm not buying it. It's not a franchise I'm into, but I'm fascinated by it. I think it looks really good, and everything Ramen does is high quality. All right, so first of all, there's this thing in, will I call it masterpiece? I guess, but it is sort of like RoboSyn, but it's not RoboSyn. And I don't know the company. Billy has a video of this auto-transforming Veritech fighter from Robotech Macross, but it only goes to Gerwalk mode, and it's not my favorite mode, but it's still something. It's fascinating. It's massive. It's kind of cool. It's got all those servos making all that stuff happen, but at the end of the day, don't know the company, where to order it, how much it is. This is super early on in this. And a viewer did tip me off to this, but I was so confused about, I thought it converted all the way, transformed all the way to the Veritech fighter, but this is impressive. This is really getting closer to what I want to see in the Robotech space. More pictures of the 3-0 MDLX Transformers Lost Knight Rodimus Prime from Xiao. This really does look good, and I am tempted with it. I like this in a way, because if I want just Rodimus and Hot Rod, they gotta look Super G1. If I want something outside of that, then I'm okay with stylization, which henceforth is this, and at the same time should be really well built, because the fact it doesn't have transform. It's just an action figure. So with that, $140 is still a lot of money for 7-inch, 6.5-inch figure. Probably should have backed this behind the Veritech fighter that transforms, and I don't know who's making it yet, but this is fascinating that we're going to get a Soundwave, hopefully turning into a boombox or a Sony Walkman micro cassette player in 2020 question mark from RoboSyn. So if you like to spend 10 grand on this stuff, there you go. That's like 10 grand right there. I've had a few people comment on this Hot Wheels Transformers Nemesis Prime, and I gotta say this, that I set a timer, I was at my computer, and I almost thought about buying it, but I have so many other financial pulls in the water, including a big G.I. Joe collection I just bought, including M.A.S.K stuff I'm working on, including a lot of stuff that I don't want to talk about till I've accomplished it. And I would buy this, even though I don't really want to start a 9th scale of Transformers, but it looks good, it looks cool, it's great. I would rather just have the missing link and deal with that than try to get into the Hot Wheels stuff here. But I know I've heard that people that bought this were doubling it or tripling it for resale, even though it's not out yet. But I gotta say this, that for at least 5 or 6 minutes while I was watching it, it was still available to buy. I don't know about the checkout process. Were you waiting in line for 8 minutes and it sold out? I don't know about that. But $65 is still a lot of money for like a 2-inch figure. And I know people want like 200 for the Optimus Prime. That's crazy. But it is what it is. And I'm not in on this at all. By the way, it's $65 versus $80 because it doesn't have a trailer. So many people miss that point. All right, so what is this, like wave 3 of Aldi Alpha Action wave 3? And they just kind of skipped over. I don't think they count the Coneheads as a wave, but that's still available for. And I'm really thinking about buying that too. But here's what you get with wave 3. It looks good. I'm tempted, excited. I went ahead and ordered the YOLO Park ones. I am going to mix and match these. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. But I think this is a definite, absolute buy from Aldi. I think Aldi's winning over YOLO Park, even though YOLO Park has their own thing with M.A.S.K Pro, which is amazing. But, you know, it's like 8 scales going at once. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pass on this because for one reason and one reason only, the price point, the aesthetic, the look. Okay, 3 reasons. 3 reasons? You know, I've had a couple of people commenting on what I've said about getting blitzed with 15 Masterpiece and Legends pre-orders showing up at Show Z at once, like within a week. And a couple grand you gotta like budget for that I was thinking would be spread out over months, not within 2 weeks. And now we're seeing a slowdown for whatever reason. It's just a happenstance, a coincidence. And so with that, then I think the focus of people shift back to Hasbro once it's off third party and Masterpiece and Legends, and people get the feel of that. But with that, we have something new called the Fall Geek out of Target. But everything old is new again when you put it at Target. So the Thrust was already a Target exclusive once upon a time. And I found mine easy. I didn't think it was hard. So it wasn't a big deal for me. And there were plenty on the shelves for months. I didn't think it was a big deal. But the rest of the world seemed to think it was. And then the Sunstreaker, it's one of those things. Like, if you don't buy it during the 2 or 3 months it's on the shelf, then it's going to go away. It's going to be hard to get. Then the same thing with the DeLorean, the Time Machine. But that's been out. That's been, I shouldn't even say it's been hoarded around, but it's been out at GameStop. I've seen it at GameStop. I've seen it in several different places. I've seen it even on sale on Walmart. So with that, it's weird. But here's your chance again. All right, so this week we saw some pre-orders go live, and literally, let me just even read this. Soundwave, which is the only thing I pre-ordered, Barricade, Arachnid, Alpha Trion, and Nemesis Prime. And I gotta say, with all of this, I'm glad that people want the other things, but I really only want the Soundwave. I am picking and choosing and extremely selective on Hasbro going forward. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's kind of dawning on me that spending, you know, a couple or 3,000 a year on Hasbro stuff that's not as good, or I don't like it as much as my Masterpiece, just kind of seems silly. But at the same time, I'm glad they're making it at a lower price point, a higher level of accessibility, and then the options for repaints down the road. So with that, you got to see the like small pictures of all the other stuff that I really don't care about, and I believe my viewers 71% don't care about. This is what most people care about, and my thoughts on the Soundwave. And you get 3 cassettes, and I know it's like an altered version of Laserbeak and Buzzsaw, and I'm not 100% sure if it's a reuse for the Ravage, and I won't know till I put it on my Ravage shelf. I think I'm at like 18 or 19 different unique Ravages on my Ravage shelf. And so Gotta get it for the rabbit shelf. Gotta get the. I got a like a Blockies. I hate Blockies one coming. Oh gosh, gotta talk about that. But I like Ravage, and so I collect all different Ravages just for fun. And I think this looks good, but the pose makes it look bad. I quit being a poser before I started because I never posed in the first place. Poser, non-poser. I'm not an ex-poser. I'm a never poser. Anyway, here we go with him standing straight up and down, and I think that is how we need to see it. It is better than the Netflix one from Walmart from 2019 or whenever the heck that came out. But, which I don't even know when the Netflix one came out, because I got a year or two later some lost stock that showed up eventually at a Walmart, and I was like, wow, can't believe I found it. But anyhow, this does not look too bad. It feels like what they're doing with Megatron. Not absolutely masterpiece perfect, but a solid evolutionary step. And at the same time, I'm wondering, can you not put a Duran Duran cassette tape in that chest? It's so gigantic. Alright, so they're voting on this thing here. Turbine Maximus, Metro Boss, Autobot Powerplex as a Titan class figure at 200. You know, they didn't say the price. I think the new Titan class price is $250. I hate that, but this is, in my opinion, I don't care what they call it. I don't care at all. This is a pre-mold, pre-color, pre-plan for an actual G1 Metroplex. And when it comes out, the G1 Metroplex will look way better, in my opinion, than this. I'm not in on this at all. I love everybody that wants to get this. Great. Enjoy it. I won't harsh your mellow at all, but I'm not dipping my money into it until it's a Metroplex. And if my theory on this being a pre-color or a pre-mold to a Metroplex, then, and I'm wrong, I'm not out anything because I haven't spent anything. But with that, think about the climate we're in right now, and think about Hasbro not wanting to commit to $50,000 or $80,000 in tooling for one figure. They got to think down the road for 2, 3, 4, 5 figures and recolors of Metroplex, whatever that would be. So I think we get a G1 Metroplex coming soon. They also said something about the head transforming. Fanpole said turn this into a shark, but if you just look at this diagram, if you move some fins around and you adjust the front laser and you play with it just a little bit for more than 3 seconds, then you know what? It's a laser pistol. I mean, come on. Do you not see it? Shut the shark's mouth, make it a laser pistol. You know, on your own, without Hasbro's permission. So this figure is called Amalgamus Prime. I'm not really sure what's going on with this figure. It's crazy. It's wild crazy. There's a lot going on. It is fascinating too. It's interesting because I think it splits into all these 3 different vehicles. 4? 3, 4? So that's also fascinating. I am okay with all the different stuff that's going on. I might not buy it, but I'm okay with it. What is interesting, kind of want to see a review on this thing. A lot of people say they want to see a Transformers 1 Arachnid, and here it is. I hope it fits everything you want. I'm not 100% sure if this is exactly what people are looking for, but it fits the bill. It looks like what I would expect a Hasbro Arachnid figure to look like, and their size scale next to some Starscream. Alright, so stuff showing up around town. Wave 3 Voyager out at US retail. Now, I did get Mixmaster myself. I was very happy about this. And I got one for my son, and he doesn't watch my videos, so he doesn't know what's coming for Christmas, whether he likes it or not, or cares or not. It's not $1,000 computer, but anyway, there's Alpha Trion. There's also Flatline. The Alpha Trion looks okay. I still like the one they had with the 2-pack much better. It's, in my opinion, superior design-wise, but it's shorter than this, so there's all that to deal with. But we only got, like, I've only got one more to finish Devastator, and I'll be happy. But let's see what I've found around town. Downtown. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is Ross in a mall in Pasadena yesterday. This is what I want to walk in to see at Ross. The loyal subjects. So, before I move, because this is a transition time from Transformers, we will transform into other stuff. The loyal subjects, M.A.S.K remakes, are so expensive. Let me put this in perspective. If you bought one of everything, which is the 4 vehicles, then you get the repaint of the Rhino. So at one of everything's $325 at best, plus tax, so $360, and then you get a standard Rhino, so that it would be another $130 plus tax, so close to $150. Then you get the recolors of all this for $4 something after tax and shipping. You're almost at $1,000 to buy one of everything. Now, when I was excited for this, I thought I'd get 3 of everything and it'd be like $450. And pre-order it, 3 of everything, $450, good to go. I had no idea that it's $1,000 just to get one of everything they're making before it even shows up. And guess what? They're saying it'll ship on December 31st or by the end of the year. So you probably won't have it under your Christmas tree in 2025. It'll have to be, 30 years from now. What's under the Christmas tree in 2026? The loyal subjects. Henceforth, you might see it at Ross eventually. Theoretically. My wishful thinking. In a completely unrelated story, Ramen Toy is making and manufacturing their antagonist Sinus. I want to commend Ace at Ramen Toys for a lot of things, but sticking to his guns to at least complete the figures. Now, some people have speculated, is the 80 Commanders canceled? Is this an end of an era? And no, it's not. Now, there's a lot of reasons why. But there's nothing new announced because the community supported it to a point, and this figure did not see the sales volume. But I really want to back it up, and everything else, for the most part, has sold out, except this. Because I don't know why. I think it's amazing that they're even making the antagonist scientist or Doc Terror for nobody's doing anything with Centurions except for indies. And with that, a big shout out to Anson and what he's doing with actual retro vintage style stuff that's going on. But Ramen is doing a promise even though it's costing them in the end. So huge shout out for that. You don't see that from every company. By the way, you should have this by Christmas. My expectation. Now, this has got to be a quick clip because I've already talked about this to death. But Super 7 Ultimates Silverhawks Wave 7 is perfect. Exactly what the market needs, demands, desires, wants, anticipates. And the only thing that changed was I thought that this would be the last wave, so get the last hawk. But Condor's technically a hawk, so there's more life to this. And I will also compliment Super 7. If they truly flesh this out No other company in history, and I don't think in the next 10 to 15 years, any company will do anything near in the ballpark, not even 1% of what we've seen with Super 7 on Silverhawks. I mean, Ramen did make 2 figures, and they're great. But there's a lot of stuff. Warner Brothers is tough to work with. They even came after me personally. Not the bots on YouTube. Warner Brothers personally attacked me making videos about this. Warner Brothers went after me. Some human being went on YouTube and went after me that works for Warner Brothers. And they are hard to work with. To a level of possibly impossible to work with. I know firsthand. First party. Second party is the customer. Yeah, the other issue is there's not a lot of Silverhawks collectors out there, so it's not going to be easily supported. Okay, Ben Cooper NECA figures for Kiss. 8-inch scale. It says priced at $80. Okay. 6-inch tall, 8-inch scale, whatever. These figures are 6-inch tall because they're kids in an 8-inch scale toy line. So they would still look good with your G.I. Joe Classifieds, maybe. So with all of this, it's $80, I think, for the whole set. Fourth quarter of the year. BBTS, Entertainment Earth, Chosen Prime, Toy Geeks. If you're in on this, I have none of this, but it's still fascinating. Target Fall Geek Out strikes with the X-Men, and we've got Mystique and Storm. Now, Storm is sort of a rehashed figure. I looked her up. She does look different. They did change some stuff, but if you have a previous release, it's probably just fine. The thing about Mystique is, am I wrong if I say she's just wearing way too much clothes for the Mystique character? Oh, McFarlane. So I was actually at a GameStop in a different city because I was buying a collection. And I almost bought a few things on clearance, but I was like, I don't need them for the Batman 66 or what they're doing with this new sort of superpowers, but Super Friends. I gotta tell you this. The Wonder Twins were custom-made figures. There's like 9 or 10 figures that were planned for Kenner superpowers that never ever got made. This and there's like a bat figure, and I gotta go look it all up. But I almost bought customs of all that, but I'm like, I don't even have the whole original line. So why am I going into customs when I don't have the whole line of Kenner? And it took me like another 8 months, and those customs kind of dried up. And they were expensive. So I appreciate the Wonder Twins so much more because of the community rallying around those customs so well and like buying them up like crazy to fill out a Kenner superpower shelf that had everything that was planned. So with that, I am definitely in on these, even if I got to pay full price. Then there's this, which I don't give a flip about. Batman Returns and a giant duck, and what the duck is going on here, and then giant penguin. I think all this looks cool and fun, and I don't think that the product's bad or the idea's bad or anything. I just don't care to collect this. But maybe I should have got me a little bit of a Catgirl, Batwoman, Catgirl. I'm not sure. Is that Michelle Pfeiffer in there? Alright, so we've got Star Wars news announcing our latest M.A.S.K. 2 exciting collections of Jabba the Hutt bust concept M.A.S.K. replica. And yeah, if you're into this stuff, go for it. You know, I'm not going to stop you. But there's not much news henceforth talking about this. But here's the deal. Hasbro post-processing TVC pre-orders for the 3-pack of Troopers which these were fun in the beginning. Now we're like up to 12 or 15 of these. So I only have like 2 or 3. I stopped on those. But the Cantina Adventure set 4-pack, it's a really good idea. It's $65. It's sold out. But what I'm learning is sold out never really means sold out, but it sometimes means sold out, but usually doesn't mean sold out. So it's not always sold out. By the way, you can order it right now. You can go to Hasbro Pulse and order the Cantina Adventure set 4-pack right now if you want it. I am going to wait for a sale. Now for the Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Well, I gotta say this. I have been looking at Ross's more. I started avoiding Ross and stuff like oh, it's a couple of miles less to drive, less gas to spend. Gas really isn't that bad, but $50 for the ATSD Raider Mandalorian at a Ross. I was thinking like at 25 I would have bought it. 50 no. Guess what? All of them sold out by the next day, so it's not. 50 was a good price point, I guess. The market always, 100% of the time, the market dictates the price. Because if it goes 2 years without selling, even Ross will mark it down to $30, which is my price. Because I have 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. At one point, I had like 10 of these in the vintage collection, the original one. But it's not a good figure. It is terrible. It does not stand very well, but it is what it is. And hopefully we get to see a little bit of the good old Loyal Subjects M.A.S.K stuff. Now, I am continuing to fill out my cartoon collection through only one means, Ross for $6. I will keep it going as long as the gravy train is running. Also, the Atatin, the Fern, I will continue to add to my skeleton crew. Let me tell you about Disney TV shows. I've realized that I think all of the Disney TV shows were literally other concepts pitched to Disney and shelved. And they said, let's just stamp Star Wars on it and change a few things. Because it would have been great. Space Pirates or Kids Lost in Space Kids. I mean, so many other concepts. It wasn't a bad show. It just wasn't at all Star Wars. Then we've got this thing here for, I think, $20. Thundertron, if that's the thing that you're into, check your Ross's, because it sold fast. It's not there the next day. And then there's also $20 Wolfman. All of them are sold. Gone. Long gone. And here's the good old Ollies when they open the cases and dig out what they want. But then they realize they don't want anything in the box. And we got a lot of Mario from, what is this, like 2018 Mario stuff? 2022 Mario stuff? I don't know. Resurfacing for $10 per Mario. And there's some Ecto one. That fun stuff. Then you got to, this is I think this one was at GameStop, and we got 2 Commander Rexes on the shelves at the same exact time. I don't know. I just don't know about all this, but I don't care either. So hopefully it helps you. Back to Ross. If you want Skeleton Crew, I think Neil, Fern, and Thrawn are the ones that are like populating Ross's now. The reason all this jumps around is because I take pictures sequentially at where I go to the next place, the next Ross, the next this, next that. This conversation was had with my son on my hour-long drive back from buying a collection and shopping at a bunch of stuff, a bunch of places, and taking pictures. And gotta say this. The top one is correct to me. My son believes the bottom one's correct because it has Hayden Christensen because he was in the prequels. The thing is, though, when Alec Guinness was Obi-Wan, he died. We don't have Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, so point one to the top. Old Yoda is still old Yoda in the bottom, so point two to the top. And henceforth, the only argument to keep Hayden Christensen in this picture is because you want to have an actual true Jedi, a true believer, the light side, right? But Luke won his father back prior to him dying at the end of Return of the Jedi in 1983. Spoiler alert. Henceforth, and for art thou, Alec Guinness is in there, and so should Sebastian Shaw be in there. So should the puppet of Yoda in the top, and not Hayden Christensen. Nothing against Hayden Christensen. He did a really good job of playing a whiny little bee. So, let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What else is going on out there that I don't know about, that I haven't discussed, because I like to stay in the know. Like and subscribe, and Tidy Hang around.